Hi, this is Stephen Carr again, and hopefully I was able to prove in the previous video how widespread and out of control this problem is in the United States. The programs that we have in place, those things which we believe are there to protect our kids, are totally, absolutely ineffective from the police on down. And there needs to be a new program to help stem this. That is what I'm going to talk about in this video, which is going to be titled The Best Way to Protect Our Kids. However, I would first like to show you a video excerpt from a previous webinar. It will give you a little bit of information to help explain something that I'm going to talk about in this video.
Hello everybody, my name is Stephen. I'd like to thank you and welcome you to the webinar today. This has been pre-recorded, this video here, and I'd like to start out by showing you a magic trick and then explaining how the trick directly relates to you protecting your children from child predators. Now, I'm not the greatest magician, and if you know how this trick works, you're not going to be impressed. But for sake of demonstration, it's a relatively easy trick for a laptop video. So, what we have here, so we have a king of hearts. No, actually a king of diamonds, I'm sorry. King of diamonds. So watch the card. 1, 2, 3. What we got? Ace of spades. Ooh, I made it disappear. I'm magic. Again, if you know how that works and you're not impressed at all, you're probably rolling your eyes. The point of that is, I'd like to take you back 20 years. 20 years I was living in Los Angeles and I was invited to the Magic Castle. And if you're not familiar with the Magic Castle, it's a private club for the top magicians in the United States and around the world. And you actually have to be invited by one of the members to go inside. Now, I went there with a group of people, and the shows are not like typical shows where, you know, there's a distance between you and the stage. These magic shows are actually done right in front of you, about as close as I am to you right now in relation to the video, you know, right under your nose, with cards and everything else. And after the show, the magician invited me there. He and a group of other people came back to my place, and he was showing us more tricks. And I was sitting right next to me, he was doing it, and you know, I consider myself, excuse me, a relatively smart guy, and he was just pulling this stuff off like I couldn't understand, I couldn't explain it. And so I asked him point blank, I said, Steve, how is it you get away with this? And the answer he gave me has stuck with me for over 20 years. He told me, he said, Stephen, the reason we can get away with doing this is because we understand how you think. Now, my background is communication psychology, and I had graduated with a double major degree, and it absolutely blew me away because the realization that there was a minority of people who understood how well we thought, and that they could actually manipulate a few things here and there to make us believe we saw something or didn't see something, well, it actually just, it opened my mind to really what was happening with the human mind. And what I took away from it was not so much the skill of the magician, although there has to be a proficiency and skill level, of course. But it was not so much their skill that created these illusions, but rather the kind of the conformed mindset of the audience. As human beings, we are kind of hardwired certain ways and we think certain ways. And this is how magicians are effective. They're basically scamming us. Now, this directly relates to what is happening with child predators and children. Children obviously have very little experience. They're very prone to being scammed, and if they don't know about something, then they're apt to believe it. Using some examples of this, you've probably talked to your children with stranger danger and told them about the scam or the trick as far as saying, you know what, I've lost my puppy, would you come help me with my puppy? Well, children, they've heard that, so they're not going to fall for that. As an adult, you've probably received umpteen emails from Nigeria saying, you know, the president's son or the attorney for the general or whatever who had confiscated all this money during the Civil War has all this gold in a Swiss bank account and just needs your bank account numbers to give you 10% of it. The thing is we've heard that so many times, boom, we're programmed that when it comes up, at first blush, we know it's a scam, and so we just delete it out of our email. My goal for tonight is to present these tactics and strategies that predators use on your children in a way for you to be able to relate them to your children so that the same thing happens, because there are very distinct ways in which these predators are creating illusions or tricks to either attack your child or prevent them from reporting it. And all we really need to do is empower our children with what happens or how these tricks are executed, and they will no longer fall for them. So, without further ado though, I'd just like to show you this trick basically what I have here is how this is done. Basically, I have two cards. Ooh, I bet you're just surprised there, right? All we're doing is we're just putting one card in front of the other, snapping our fingers. Do that again, maybe from the side. It goes a little slower. Snapping our fingers. Again, I show you the trick, you're not going to fall for it. And tonight I'm very excited because I'm going to show you the tricks child predators are using to pull on your children. And together, we're going to empower your kids, we're going to be smart, be safe, and we're going to stop predators. Again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of the webinar.
So let me start out by saying that the best way to help our kids identify, thwart, and report predators is to help them foresee predatory tricks. What do I mean by that? I mean that we will be much more successful in protecting our children from falling victim by focusing our attention on predatory tricks rather than on the actual abusive actions. And since this may seem like a very unusual track to follow, let me explain why. Let's look at one of the most popular programs out there that focuses on abusive behavior, and that is Good Touch, Bad Touch. It's a very popular program. It focuses on body zones. Yet, 20% of all kids are still abused, and only 1 to 10% of sexual abuse is ever reported. Why doesn't teaching about molesting behavior trigger an appropriate response? It has to do with predictive behavior, foreseeing the future. And let me give you an example. This is one of my favorite examples of foreseeing behavior. What I would like you to do is to pick a number. I have 4 cards there, 1 through 4. I need you to just focus on one of them and choose one. Pick a number, pick it now. How many chose number 3? Now, if you didn't choose number 3, it simply means your thought processing on visual stimuli is outside the norm of most people. But do this test on your friends and family and see what they pick. You will come to realize that number 3 is the most popular choice. Now, if you did choose number 3, it simply means your mind operates like the majority of others. There is no right or wrong, good or bad to it. It's just how our brains operate. And that is what I was speaking about in the video with magicians. They succeed on how the majority of humans process visual information. It's easy to predict human behavior. And due to their lack of development and experience, what is often called innocence, it's even easier to predict the behavior of children. Novice, low-skilled magicians have little trouble fooling children with their tricks, and novice, low-skilled predators can also get away with their schemes. So let's take a look at the predictive behavior predators use against children. The lost puppy scheme, or scam, if you will. Now, I think everybody's aware of this. Somebody goes up to the child, says, "My puppy's been lost," or whatever, "you'll help me find him." Why does this work? Because children love puppies and they're compassionate about animals suffering or in trouble. Predators know how the child thinks. In this example, the number 3, the most likely choice for people to choose would be helping to find the lost puppy. It's predictive behavior, predicting what the child will do. However, interestingly enough, once children are taught that this is a scam, when they are taught what to listen for, they are vastly more protected against falling for the trick, just as you are more apt not to pick number 3 the next time you are asked. If we can educate and train our kids what predatory tricks to watch for and what key phrases to listen for, we can give them predictive ability and power them against all kinds of predators. See, it's not the sexual or violent behavior we need to teach our children about. Statistics prove such warnings don't lower molestation rates nor increase reporting rates. So, again, looking at Good Touch, Bad Touch, why doesn't teaching about molesting behavior trigger an appropriate response? Child molestation is one of the most underreported crimes. Only 1 to 10% are ever disclosed. Well, again, predictive behavior. A predator who is going to attack a child sexually realizes that afterwards, reporting is the hardwired response the victim will follow. That's their number 3 choice, report what happened to him. So, knowing that the reporting is going to happen with the child, it's incumbent upon the predator to block that, Knowing what the child will naturally do afterwards, they are then in a position to try to get them to choose a different route, to not choose number 3. That is their goal. Predators are tricking children into not reporting. That's why good touch, bad touch is such a failure. It's not identifying the behavior that's a problem. Kids know when they're being abused. The problem is reporting, and predators have mastered the silencing of their victims through 3 types of blackmailing tricks. How they are tricking them can easily be taught to children, just like the lost puppy scheme. We need to teach our children about the tricks of predators, and to do so, we must focus on the secrets being contracted with our children. The power of a child predator rests entirely in their ability to convince the child to keep a secret. A secret is their leverage. It's their most powerful tool. It's what keeps them out of jail and gives them the opportunity to continue to abuse. Now, when I build my online webinar as Revealing the Secret Strategies of Child Predators, I quite literally meant secret strategies. How predators are tricking our children into sex abuse or keeping them quiet afterward. And since these secret strategies are nothing more than tricks used by the predator to fool and silence the child, if we can reveal how the trick is done, it loses its effect. And that is what you will learn on the webinar. The 3 main secrets being used against our children.